I'll text him.
Yeah, I
Dude, I
mean, no,
love doing
it's cool.
residential.
Like we're in city, so people can dip if they need to. Like right now, I know that Frank's going to be at the dock working, so no big deal. And he let me know ahead of time because he didn't want to have another incident with a sheep. All right, guys, everybody's here. Hey, Constantine, how you doing, bud?
What's up?
Okay.
What's up?
You
Not
know,
much, my man. Uh, we missed you last time, but the guys made it through, taking care of you. Whatchamacallit, Americus made sure that you were taken care of.
Well, thanks. I heard Frank was getting a little excited.
uh, he was he was just talking about boobs.
I see.
But Americus took care of you, man. Like Americus made sure everything was good. You had a headache and you collapsed basically, and they took care of you in battle. And Frank gave up his bedroll to you and Merrik and the Bloodhawk because y'all are all unconscious. And when they set up camp, they took care of you. So
and
That's very nice.
yeah, all right. Go ahead and roll y'all's 10D100. Also, I put your RP stores in the World Anvil under avatars. So y'all can see what y'all could purchase, kind of thing. Because y'all are there at that point now. It's the same thing. It's not going to change any.
If it was really low, I'd have been like, "Oh, I rolled it in the wrong place."
Yeah. I need. I just need Williams roll now. Sir Wilhelm.
my bad.
Okay, Americus, Merrik, Thalion, and Baltan. You enter the Tropica Tavroni. It's hustling, bustling as usual. Thank you, William.
Shut up, that cool.
It came up that time. It's hustling and bustling as usual. Thelma walks in and smiles and says, "Ah, it's been a while since I've been here. Americus, do you have any preference in your place to seat, since you are my nephew of honor?"
Sure, I say as I walk like I know where I'm going until I just randomly find a spot to sit.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard for me to see. Is there like a stage in here?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. It's the same place that we've
okay,
been with Thelma's.
okay, cool. I would sit at the far left table right by the stage,
Okay,
and I would sit at the top chair where I can see.
like
Well,
that.
where's the entrance? Down at the
The,
bottom, right?
yeah, entrance is over here.
Yeah, so I'll be right there, at that top chair. Like,
Right.
yeah, let's sit here. I come over there and I sit my little ass up there.
And Thelma follows you and sits next to you.
The next one, the one closer to the,
Closer to the stage.
yeah, the one closest to the stage, right there. Boom.
Okay, yeah. Thelma follows you and she sits down. Baltan, any preference in chair? Thalion, any preference in chair?
Um, I will be no, and no preference.
There you go.
There are many chairs.
Okay. Merrik is fine standing. He just smiles and kind of hangs out at the table. He asks, "Miss Batal, would you like for me to go put in an order for us?" "Sure, my boy. If you could, tell old Thilbus bring us a feast fit for kings, all the best and nothing less." And she hands a small sack of gold to Merrik. He nods his head, and Merrik takes off to go talk to Thilbus. Thelma narrows her eyes as Elgus the Bard begins to play a very sour, noted song. "I see that this town's reputation still hangs on horrible bards. He couldn't make it for one day in Talmadun. She leans over to you, Americus, and she says, "So what is this I hear of my nephew being honored by the Fist in Flame emblem? You bring such pride to the family name. It's good to see something coming good of your branch of the family."
Oh yes, all good things come with time.
Well, that's not always been the case. I thought that you would be the apple that fell closely to the tree, as your parents never had any ambition to pursue anything other than just running a simple bakery, and your father tinkering around with inventions that never amounted to anything.
Exactly why. Yes. Yeah, so what was I gonna say? Yeah. I guess I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah. Well, I can say this, and I have never been able to say this about your branch of the family, but you do all halflings proud, and even more, you do the Batal name even more pride. You are someone that I would gladly be associated with. It's sad that it took your parents dying for your family side of the line to start to rise up to be something more than common bakers and peasants.
Indeed. This time would come eventually, and now it's upon us.
Well, I'm glad that you can at least do better than what your parents say. And I'm glad that you're not letting petty emotions about your parents passing hold you back. Remember, emotions are to be controlled and tamed. If you control these and tame these emotions, then you are better than the rest of the people around you. Those plebs that just cry their eyes out when a family member dies. The only thing that matters is prestige and profit. The 2 P's. Remember that, my boy.
I would still like to remind you of the importance, or perhaps the value of maintaining my current and past social standings in order to do as we wish.
I can understand that. You must still maintain the observations of mourning for the plebs in this city, because otherwise, obviously, they would look down upon you. I have run into this many times. It's such a bother to fake such emotions for people, isn't it? And then she turns and looks at Thalion and looks at Baltan and says, "Why are you two so quiet? Are you intimidated to join the conversation with such a noble as myself?"
I look at Baltan. I look back to the wretch.
I say, well, I'm simply a elven ranger, so I just sit back and observe.
She looks at you and purses her lips, and she goes, "Mm-hmm." And she looks over at Thalion, and she says, "Are you going to merely ride on his coattails of a pathetic excuse?" She is such a bitch.
Oh, no, ma'am. I was daydreaming.
Daydreaming. Daydreaming. You're far too old to be daydreaming. You should be making something of yourself, forging a name for yourself, building fortunes, slaying dragons, conquering realms. You are a fine-looking young man, and you can do many things. And she leans forward and purses her boobs up onto the table, props them, and gives you a smile.
Well, I appreciate your compliments, but I prefer to be a little more elusive, and I don't care much of building a reputation or wealth or defeating dragons.
But why not then? One must always have goals. What are your goals in your life?
Well, I haven't really been thinking about goals. Don't even know where I came from anymore. So,
What do you mean, poor boy? Merrik drags up another chair and places it between Americus and Thalion. He sits down and he says, I can't bear to face that bard. His music is just so awful.
fucking I know, right?
So now, boy, don't dodge my question. Sit up straight and answer. What are your goals in your life?
My goals of late have just been a mere survival, man, and cleansing this town of the illness that has fogged my brain.
Ah,
Once I'm healed, I might be able to come up with some goals for myself. But until then, I can't put much of anything together.
but my handsome young man, don't you see that your path is already laid before you in the words you just spoke? By cleansing this town, you shall gather prestige for young Americus here and yourself. That in itself shall elevate you and give you more opportunities and more profit and position you in a place to become much more than a simple ranger. Just stay away from eating that purple meat and your mind will heal itself. Your past matters not. Most people's past only hold them back. You're glad to be rid of it. You can move forward now unencumbered. Don't you see? That is your superpower. Your path is laid before you.
I suppose you're right.
Suppose? Ha ha ha, my dear, I am the glorious and beautiful Thelma Batal. I am always right. I do not speak unless I know of things. Thelbus approaches your table carrying 3 very large trays, puts them down on the table, and he says, Hello, everyone. Hello, Miss Thelma. It is good to see you again. A fitting feast for such a noble as yourself. I am humbled and honored that you come back to the Tropica Taveroni. We have not seen you in many years. Oh, Thelbus, you wonderful man. It is nice to see you again as well. You always take such good care of me. Is my normal suite in the bunkhouse available? Yes, my dear. I am having it cleaned out right now. Yes. Chop, chop, then. Make sure it's full of pastries and things that I love. I would like perfumes and a bath drawn, please. And please, treat these men to everything on my account, as I am here on official business for the Batal family. Yes, my dear, I will do such things. You're so beautiful. And she slaps Thelbus on the ass, and she says, Do come by my room later. Yes, ma'am. He looks visibly uncomfortable and walks away. Before you are laid out bowls of stew, an entirely cooked turkey, a venison roast, plenty of pastries, sauces, dips, and plenty of snacks. She looks over at Baltan and she says, What about you, my boy? So quiet, so mysterious. What are your goals in life?
I say, currently, right now, I'm trying to figure out mysteries of the forest.
Mysteries of the forest, you say?
Yes.
What do you speak of in this?
Just like for this unnatural moss growing ended up being a hag that we found in the forest. So
A hag, you say? I have not heard a tale of a hag. I would appreciate it if you would all regale me with this tale. My journey has been long, and I seek entertainment at this moment.
If entertainment is what you seek, man, we do need to find our bard. And
Yeah, I
not
was about to
all
say
of
that.
his songs are bad.
Okay, it can't be much worse than what I'm hearing now. And she stands up, reaches in her pocket, grabs a fistful of gold coins, and she goes, I will pay you to shut up. And she throws the gold coins. Mysteriously enough, every single coin aligns itself in the air when she throws it and hits on top of one another directly in the guy's forehead.
In whose forehead?
And Elgus is stunned a little bit by the coins hitting him. He drops his instrument, it breaks a string, and he stumbles out of the chair. Everybody in the Tavroni laughs. People start gathering around to watch the show because they think he's some sort of physical comedian now. Everybody laughs very loud and say, ah, ha, 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 ha. You can hear a couple people from the back. Do it again. What's next? Fall on your ass. He looks very embarrassed and picks up his lute and starts to go off the stage. Thelma turns around and she goes, want to see him fall again? Everybody cheers. He approaches for the stairs. She steps to the side. She has a small dart in her hand. She tosses it at his foot going down the stairs. It hits directly below his foot, and he tumbles down the stairs, breaking his lute. Everybody cheers and laughs and cheers on, and she stands up in her chair and she goes, my name is Thelma Batal. I will be here all week. Turns around, sits down in the chair, grabs something to eat, and she goes, now, back to what we were discussing, Mr. Baltan. Please, tell me of your goals. Tell me about these mysteries of the forest. You know, mystery is another word for prophet.
Okay, so I'll proceed to tell her the story of what we encountered in the forest.
Okay. All right, Marjorie.
Huh?
You awaken in the barracks. You're wrapped in fresh, clean linens. And in a robe that is usually reserved for people that are being cared for by clerics. Your armor and everything is neatly folded next to you. And you have a bandage wrapped around your head that has a bunch of herbs and stuff in it, and you smell a bunch of herbs and like mentholated type herbs and stuff that they have applied to you because they were trying to get the swelling of your head to go down because they believed that was the reason for you being unconscious.
I see. Well, I put my armor on, and I guess I have my shift to attend to.
You start dressing yourself, and a priestly woman approaches you, and she says, oh, my dear, are you already getting out of bed? You just woke up. Shouldn't you rest?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
No.
I think my episode is over, so I'm ready to take over my duties.
If you insist, I can't stop you, Madam Cleric. At least let me get you something to eat and something to drink before you go. She hurries off and grabs a glass of water and a small bowl of stew.
Well, thank you, my dear. I guess I'll go sit down and eat it.
She faces you and places her palm on her forehead and nods, and she says, may the thrones guide you. Such dedication to your work is unbelievable. And she walks off.
Great.
So you spend your time eating the stew. It's not fabulous, it's not great, or anything else. You notice your body is bathed and you are completely ready and fresh. You feel amazing. But as you're eating your stew, you start getting flashes of memories of being out. You have one moment of a very hazy view of Americus kneeling over your head and placing a backpack under your head and then patting your head and smoothing your hair back to make sure that you're still alive. You have another moment of him looking over you to make sure that you're still breathing. You can hear another moment of large screams echoing through a forest and a starry night sky. You have another vision moment of being laid next to a body of Merrik and a hawk that looks like they're dead. And then you have a memory of an echo, something in your mind like reverberation. Every time you try to remember it, It's extremely fuzzy, and it kind of hurts to remember.
Take a glance at my stew, pondering if there was something in there to bring over those flashes. And take it on myself to talk to Americus about what happened.
Okay. You finish up your stew, and you are ready for your day. There's a note by your bed from the commander of the clerics.
I'm going to pick it up and read it.
It says for you to report to the guard tower and meet with the commander. He has special orders for you.
All right, I'm going to head to the guard tower.
All right. Okay. Marjorie, you enter the guard tower and make it to the top. And you are at the Cleric's Corps Tropica Command Center inside of the guard tower. All right. You approach the door, and there are 2 guards standing in front of the door, and they look at you and say, "State your business with the captain."
Was called over.
Do you have an official summons?
I believe I do.
Okay. You hold out the note stamped wax seal symbol of the 10 thrones. All right. And they say, "Go on in."
I'm going to walk in.
All right. The captain looks up and he says, Marjorie, good to see you. Here, I have official orders for you. I had to hand these to you directly.
I'm going to grab the orders. And read.
You read the orders. Recipient: Marjorie Payne, Cleric of the 10 Thrones, Cinder, Merrik, Elric Varen, Cleric Corps Tropica Division, 6/21/68/1280. Subject: Assignment of liaison duty to Paladin Brigade, Belmire Grain Farm Incident. Effective immediately upon receipt of this notice, Cleric Marjorie Payne, you are assigned to liaison duties between Tropica Cleric Corps and the newly arrived contingent of the Paladin Brigade. Brief the Paladin captain and his officers regarding the iron root anomaly discovered in the Belmire grain farm. Provide first-hand reports and field observations and any spiritual insights gathered during your prior investigations. Accompany the brigade during their preliminary assessment until otherwise relieved by a superior cleric. Assist the Paladin Brigade in removal of the iron root from the Belmire grain farm. Reason for an assignment: your unique familiarity with the iron root manifestation at the Belmire property and your record of steadfast service make you the optimal choice for ensuring Paladin Brigade is properly informed without unnecessary confusion or speculation. Note: diplomatic decorum is expected. The Paladins are operating under direct authority of the Church and report to High Warden Clairlith Vey. The mission is to determine whether the anomaly constitutes a sanctioned phenomenon or a profane incursion. Failure to comply will be considered dereliction of duty. May the thrones guide your words, your deeds. Commander Elric, Tropical Clerics Division, and it's sealed and countersigned.
That's quite a bit to take in, I tell him.
He nods and he says, "The brigade captain is waiting out at the Belmire grain farm. We need you to report there as soon as possible."
I'll be on my way then, and I walk out.
Okay. All right. Are you going to head there, or are you going to go some other place?
Well, I was ordered to go there, so I'll head over there.
Okay, awesome. Spend your time heading there. On your way there, let's roll. Every time I roll an event, for some reason, guys, I don't know if you have watched the videos, but every time I've been rolling events, they've been rolling 16 so high. On your way there, from the guard tower here, you encounter the crazy guy you encountered before. He's stuttering and muttering in the streets. He's looking worse for wear this time. This time his veins are popping out of his skin. He's looking very sickly and he's muttering to himself.
I wonder to myself if I should just try to heal him without his consent.
It's your choice, brother.
I'm gonna strike a conversation and ask him, and tell him that you look much worse than last time, kind sir. Is there anything else? Is there anything I can do for you?
You can stop them. You can stop the underground people. You could stop the lizard people. They're coming, and they're going to come for us. They're teamed up with the gnomes. I saw 2 gnomes arrive in this town today.
Where did you see those gnomes?
They hopped out of the caravan, and they started carrying in all of this crazy equipment. All of this insane stuff. They're going to do experiments on us. I think they're already doing them to me.
Would you be able to show me where you saw them carrying that equipment in?
I'm not going anywhere near them, but I'll tell you now, they're over there on Market Row, setting up in a shop. I heard some of them call one of them Pax.
I'm going to take my little notebook out and write down that information.
The name PAX.
PAX at the Market Row. All right. Well, before leaving, I'm going to cast a heal on him.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay.
Guess we're going to do... guess we're going to do Cure Wounds. It's level 1.
Okay. So you cast Cure Wounds. You place your hands upon his head. A golden light shimmers from your hands, and it shimmers and goes into the guy's eyes. You can see the light enter his eyes, but it seems to fade into nothingness as his eyes glaze over. He looks around and he goes, What are you doing here? What are you doing to me? You're working for them, aren't you? And he screams and starts to run away.
I hope he feels better, I tell to myself before walking off.
Okay, heading to the Belmar Grand Farm to meet the Paladin Brigade. That's going to be an interesting experience. Okay, Lucian, which door are you going in? The main door or the side door? Business door or personal door?
I'll go in the business door.
Okay.
We were here on business. I got that hag's head from Americus.
Yep, okay.
That's what the whole reason I was going here.
Okay, you approach the door. It is open and unlocked.
I just walk right in.
The secretary looks at you with her normal deadpan face and says, You again. We're seeing a lot of you lately. Are you ever going to stop coming around? You're not part of this family anymore. You know that, right?
I'm sorry, I don't talk to the help. And then I just keep walking.
Fine. Go on through. I wouldn't want to stop you, mutt.
Yes, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
And you proceed up the stairs. There's so much sexual tension between you two.
I'll come back with a Gorgon head next time. Been needing a lawn statue.
That's funny. Okay. You come up the stairs. And you approach the door.
I'm gonna knock on it.
Enter.
I'll go in.
Lucian, please deliver me good news. I've got the freaking Paladin Brigade in town. Ugh. And you know from previous experience that that's a very stressful thing because these guys are not as intelligent as the Cleric Corps and they don't necessarily see things as the Cleric Corps does in shades of gray and black and white. Paladins see things in black and white only.
Yeah, a little quicker to smite.
Yep, and they usually make tons of arrest of the townspeople, fill up any jail cells that they have, and it's just a paperwork nightmare, and he has to wait until they leave before he can free everybody. And some people are declared heretics and, like, literally burned outside of town.
Yes, I noticed them coming in on the supply train. Whatever are they here for?
Well, we had to do something about the iron root. We have no way to remove it ourselves. These guys are our best hope. And we need that grain to make it through the winter.
Yes. Well, I do believe that we've solved the problem of the deer. There shouldn't be any more crazy animals around. We actually killed, and I'm going to stick my hand in my bag and pull out the head of the hag. This creature.
And he goes, oh! He's like guffawed and curious at the same time.
Yes, we tracked this creature back to the source of the infestation, and it appeared to have a parasitic relationship with a tree there, and was spreading, controlling, said something about a circle. I don't know, I wasn't entirely listening, but it's dead now, and all of the strange moss died with it, and I do believe that this should be a solution to the problems of the northern farms, at least as far as rabid animals and other things go. The iron root, we found a tree that I believe is where the iron root originates from. It's quite a ways away. It's very impressive, actually. The roots of the tree have grown into the farmland. However, I'm unsure how we would remove it. We don't have tools strong enough to cut its bark. Its leaves are brass.
Well, that's why the paladins are here. Hopefully they can help us in that matter.
Okay. Well, and I'm gonna ruffle on his desk a little bit, looking for a map of the area.
He pulls a map out from under his books and he places it down. And he shows you the Tropica County map.
Thank you, Bob.
I'll actually switch you over to that.
According to my guides, it was located approximately here. I'll stick my finger down in the location. That was indicated by whichever ranger told me where we were.
Oh, okay, that map. Okay, the forest map. All right, gotcha. Understood. He says, is there anything else worth note in that area?
Not more of a note than Hag and the mysterious metal tree.
So the fungus is taken care of. That was the responsibility of this hag, correct?
Yes, that is what our observations led us to believe. And I've seen nothing to counteract that theory. No evidence to the contrary.
But the iron root still remains.
Yes, I do not believe that they are one and the same. I don't think. I think that the iron root, I don't want to say is natural, but maybe naturally occurring, and has taken this long to grow into our lands. it did not seem hostile or even intelligent in any way. It just looked like a tree to me, Father. Granted, a metal tree, but a tree nonetheless.
Well, we will see what comes of this. If you can, please make notes and take notes of this information. I can say that you're shaping up nicely, son. This issue with the Belmire grain farm, you seem to have solved it, and we're on our way to taking care of it. That's one farm down. There are more than a few to go. The most pressing matter at the moment, I believe, is the Tarosted Ranch. It's threatening our meat supply. If we can get the Tarosted Ranch back on its feet, and the Belmire grain farm is somewhat resolved, I believe the Tropica stands a good chance of making it through the winter and flourishing.
Yes, remember, Father, we could also now go hunt our own meat. There
That is
shouldn't
true.
be any more infected meat,
That is
at least in the immediate area.
That is true, but then we rely on eat what you kill instead of farm and production. We need to be able to figure out why there are so many deaths. There are expected amount of consumption calves born, but the number is much higher than that. On the decline that we are currently in, we will run out of livestock within a few months, and something keeps happening to them. I've heard of strange runes being carved into the Tarosted Ranch's barn. Please, I would beg of you, take a look into this. I cannot trust this to Callum. He will merely scorch the earth.
Yes. Speaking of Callum, what is the task assigned to him?
I've been told that he is in preparations for it. He asked me for a large sum of money, and I granted it to him for this expedition. He has told me that through his spies, intel that he collected on the rats in the basement, that this is a far more dire situation than what we thought, and he needed special assistance to be able to take care of it. But I'm sure that he will make it through this, of course.
So the paladins were not his doing?
No, the paladins were called here by me to take care of the Belmire grain farm.
I see. Well,
Callum said that he had a plan, and he said that he knew someone that could help them take care of the problem. And if he has that much assurance to be so brazen in front of me of his absolute completion of this, then I think that he probably has some way to buy his way out of it.
we shall see. I shall gather the party and make all due haste to the, what was it, Torred Ranch?
Tarosted Ranch.
To the Tarosted Ranch, Father.
Behind
endeavor.
behind Acarius, the door opens, and walks Delia. She pauses and almost seems shocked to see you. She nods at you politely and approaches Acarius. Hello, my love, my dear. And she kisses him on the cheek. I know you're busy handling business. And she looks at you out the side of her eye. But she says, the Tarosteds have invited us for dinner. Will you attend? I am too busy at the moment. The paladins are in town, and you know what kind of attention that requires. Very well, I will turn them down. But remember, we do have the engagement with the Lorians. That we cannot miss. Understood. She nods at you again, and she walks out of the room. He looks at you and says, sorry for the interruption. Please, let me know how things turn out at the Tarosted Ranch. Right now. And he lowers his voice. You're ahead of Callum. And I'm proud of you that you are. I'm sorry that things are the way that they are, but I am in a position with many moving parts. I don't necessarily have a choice in certain things, but the winds of change may be sweeping through Tropica. And he hands over a bag and a sealed writ, which is like a scroll with a stamp on it. Yeah.
Right.
He hands over a bag and a sealed writ, and he goes, share this with your party, and I hope that this in some way compensates for my lacking as a father. He stands up, and he nods, and he walks out of the room.
Gary, I'm gonna leave. Can I inspect the writ without opening it and try and determine what it is?
Yep. Investigation.
Okay. Get into it.
With that, you would realize that it is a holy writ, and these are somewhat common, handed out by the church, and they usually contain a bit of divine power.
What's it for?
You don't necessarily know what it's for, but you have heard stories about them doing all kinds of different things.
I see.
Yeah.
I was just trying to see if it was the paperwork for Americus.
Yeah. If you wanted to ask about that, you could like knock on the door and call him back. Because he doesn't know that Thelma's in town. He doesn't know any of that yet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I figured he would have known that.
Well,
yes,
he might know it, but he didn't discuss it with you. Like, he's not addressing the situation yet.
Yes, I would very much like to get his attention again.
Okay. You go and knock on their bedroom door. He returns. Lucian.
Yes.
I thought our business was concluded, son.
Almost. I do apologize again for the interruption, Father. I was wondering if progress had been made on the case for young Americus Batal.
He puts his hand up and he puts a finger over his lips and he's like, he goes to step back in the office and he says, "Dear, just one more moment." You hear a deep, deep sigh. You know that sigh when your wife sighs and you know she's pissed off, but she's not going to say anything? That sigh. Mm-hmm. He walks in, he puts his arm around you and pulls you close. And he says, "Speak not of this loudly. I am arranging documents to ensure that things turn out amenable for Americus. I can't speak of it anymore."
Well, the Lady Thelma is here. She arrived in the supply train just this morning.
I'm aware that she was supposed to arrive on it, but I did not know she was here yet. That means I must move fast. Okay.
Yes, I fear she will take everything that is Americus and his legacy, his parents' legacy, and all of it. She would take it. And
he walks to his desk. He walks to his desk. He gets a piece of paper. He writes a few things on top of it, folds it in half, grabs the wax, puts the wax seal on the piece of paper, places his hand above it, and speaks words. The seal lights up, and the envelope seals, and it looks like a single piece of paper with just a wax seal on it. He turns around, he gives it to you, and he says, "Take this to the slums. Take it to the sheep lover. You know who I mean."
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna look very confused and gotta scrunch my eyes together, and what? Why?
He leans in and he looks around and he says, "In politics, you learn that all walls have ears. Just follow the instructions. Trust in me this one time."
Yes, Father. I will leave you to it.
And he takes his leave and walks through the door.
And I'll walk out and head toward the slums.
Okay. Back around to the Tropica Tavroni, people. Thelma is regaled by the story that you present to her. She has been standing next to Americus this entire time while you've been telling the story, with a turkey leg in one hand and a ale in the other, swaying back and forth. She looks at Americus with such pride. You bring such pride to our name. Keep it up. While I'm in town, I will find us a few more opportunities. Merrik looks very nervous. She stumbles around the table and she says, Baltan, you're a strange one, but these mysteries you have told me about this forest, I think that we can find some profit to be made. What say you on retrieving me some of this iron root?
Oh, that shouldn't be too difficult.
Yes, we must get as much as possible. I hear that there are authorities in town investigating this. She slowly moves over towards Thalion. She puts her turkey leg down on the table. She begins to lean over towards Thalion and put her arm on his back and pat his back. So, Baltan, do you think that we can get our hands on a lot of this iron root? I know in Talmadun some people that would pay a nice penny.
I guess it would depend on how big of a workforce you have.
Oh, well, workforce is not really what it's about. It's about getting it out of the city and avoiding the assessor. Her hand trails down Thalion's back.
I scooch away a little bit.
She turns and looks at you and laughs, and she goes, Honey, I've already paid for the dinner. And then she laughs and slams her ale down on the table.
I said, absolutely not, ma'am. This is not where this is going.
Oh, that's okay, my dear. I know you couldn't handle as much woman as I am.
You're absolutely right. I could not. Baltan can.
What'd you say?
I cannot. Baltan can. I cannot.
She looks at you and she says, I wouldn't mind a ride, but I think I would break that stallion. And she goes around behind Baltan and begins to rub his shoulders. But I have always been partial to a Twiggy. She's, of course, like climbing up on the back of your chair to rub your shoulders because she's a halfling and short.
And I now look at Baltan and mouth, I'm sorry.
And I go, I think I might have to go in tonight early.
Oh, where are you staying?
You're the fuck up, sir.
Out in the woods.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm actually planning on further investigating the woods tonight.
I was planning on investigating some wood, too.
And then I look over and I say, oh, I heard Merrik is very wonderful.
She leans in and she states a secret about you and then strokes her hand up her thigh and she pulls back and says, I heard you guys know a lot about wood.
That's it. You have to do it.
Oh, man.
Take one for the team.
Y'all are terrible.
Sorry, this is my culture.
Americus, you're watching your aunt try to seduce your friend.
And I look at Americus and I'm like, help me.
I just smile and go, and I look at my aunt and go, I'm glad you're having a wonderful time, Auntie. And I encourage her to continue.
You have been such a great host, Americus, and I absolutely love your little friends. She reaches onto the table, she grabs her pint, and slams it down. Walks away from Baltan, stumbles, stands up on her chair, and yells, Philbus! Another keg, please! And then plops back down in her chair. You boys know how to party. Now let's keep drinking up the night. We need to have some fun and celebrate your success. And she stands up on the table and starts dancing in front of Baltan.
I say, oh, I need to use the restroom.
Do you need some help handling that wood?
No. No. And then I walked to the bathroom.
She plops down on the table. Let me zoom out. Make you head towards the bathroom. She plops down on the table. And she lays across it. Looks at Thalion and Americus. And she goes, "Did you know that at one point I was a mistress to Mr. Moore of the Moore Shipping Company? He used to smuggle me in so easily in his backpack."
Oh, really, Auntie? Tell me more.
Yes, I was known as what is called a spinner. And she looks at Thalion and she says, "Are you familiar with this term?"
No, but I also have to pee. And I get up and join Baltan to the bathroom.
She looks back at Americus and says, "Such small bladders you guys have, your friends have."
I'm not even in the bathroom. I went to the back door.
There is a window in the bathroom here, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay. Thalion, you walk into the hallway to where the bathroom's at, and you see Baltan's ass and Baltan slipping out the window.
I say, "You motherfucker!" And I run over there and I jump out of the window with him. and deliver.
At this point, Thelma is getting absolutely wasted. Thelma brings over another keg. She cracks it open and begins to drink. Merrik drinks along with her. Americus, are you drinking with her?
I won't drink, but I will say, Auntie, such festivals should be shared with all of us around. Let's invite the rest of the bar.
Yes, agreed! Everyone, drinks on me! And you can hear Thelma go, "Oh my lord!" And everybody crowds around and begins to cheer.
Now she'll get some booty.
While you were there and this party is going on, there are a lot of people that are drunk, that are not minding themselves. Could you roll perception, please, Americus? Merrik is going to do the same. Okay, you pick it up, Americus. Merrik does not. Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. My bad. I was looking at the wrong number. So, you can see Thelma. She is hanging all over the men and the swashbucklers, and you catch it out of the corner of your eye as she hangs over on them. One of her hands slip into their pouch, and then slip into hers.
Ooh.
She places her mug down on the table in front of you, and then she starts loving all over another swashbuckler next to you.
I kind of smoothly get up and kind of move back out of the crowd and just let Auntie do her hoe thing.
Okay, so when you get up, roll perception one more time. Okay, you can tell that there's something off about her mug.
I grab her mug.
Okay.
I accidentally knock it over.
You knock it over, and clear liquid spills out of it.
Oh. I don't say anything.
She turns around, she looks down at it, and she meets eyes with you, winks, and then goes back to hanging on the swashbuckler.
Yeah. And I'm like, cool. She got it going on. She knows what she's doing.
Merrik continues to eat.
And then I start encouraging everyone to drink out of the keg she just got.
Okay. So the party gets really raucous, and she makes her way through the crowd and eventually slips next to you, and she says, "Now that you have a little bit of pride, I'll go ahead and cut you in if you help me work this room."
And I just look at her and smile and wink back from earlier.
Okay. So you two are working the room and you're distracting people and she's making cuts and doing her thing. Merrik is completely full. And he bows and he says, "I will bid you all good day. I have a few things I need to do, and plus I need to work a shift on the docks."
Wait, sounds like a plan.
He bows and takes off. Wow, that's really buggy. Okay. Like, anytime you get near the edge of the screen, it kind of screws up. Okay, so y'all are having y'all's midday drunk party.
All right. I've been nursing the same drink. I've barely drank out of it.
Tropica County. We're going over to Marjorie. Time is
All right.
Okay, cool. We're right on time. Unfortunately, we'll use them. Okay, cool. All right, as you approach the Bellmeyer Grain Farm, you can see paladins out in the field with halberds digging, chopping, and pulling up pieces of ironroot throughout the fields. A man in shining armor stands at the edge of the field, surveying as they work.
All right, I'm gonna approach him and introduce myself.
He nods and he says, "Good day, cleric." And he salutes. "May I ask your name?"
Marjorie Payne. Sir.
Nice to meet you, Cleric Payne. So, what is the briefing you have for me in this situation?
I commend your cleaning up efforts, and I ask him if he's aware of the nature of the iron root that they're trying to dig out.
We have been able to find out a way to remove it. With holy weapons charged, if we chop at it and put a good enough paladin strength into it, then we can uproot the stuff and return the soil to its regular growing form. That way that this city can thrive. If we encounter any of this fungus, I will make sure that my men approach it with caution. Your service honors the thrones, Cleric Payne. We'll move swiftly based on your findings. If you can let us know of anybody else in the city that might have some more information for us, then please bring them to me and have them explain their findings. We must keep an eye on this. We don't know if it's a bad or a good thing, but the throne shall prevail.